Over the months, PTFS has done a lot of aircraft remodels, and me myself have done a lot of videos comparing the old and new models of those planes that got remodeled. So how about today we travel back in time and just see how has the aircraft quality improved for every model in PTFS. So yep, I've compiled all my old versus new videos so that you can enjoy them in one sitting. Let's go, and I hope you enjoy. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I will be comparing the old Cessna models and the new Cessna models in PTFS. Anyways, let's start the video with the old Cessna 172 model. As you can see, take a look at the propeller here. It's not that bad, but it's definitely outdated now. And here's the landing gears. But if you look at the model overall, it's like very chunky. It's not really that smooth. Anyways, let's move on to the interior of this plane. Absolutely trash, just no words. Like, what is that yoke? The mixture and throttle controls are absolutely just horrible. But anyways, there are two seats at the back of the pilots. These are just standard PTFS seats. Now, out of 10, I will rate it a 6. So here we have our Cessna 182. It's very similar to the previous plane. It's a bit bigger and different colors. But if you look at the cockpit, it's basically the exact same thing, and also the two standard seats at the back of the pilots. So overall, it's probably just a 6 as well. But now let's move on to our final plane, which is the Cessna Caravan. This is probably the worst model out of them all three. Like, just look at that cockpit window, bro. Like, what is that? And the other thing as well is, why are the windows perfectly round? And the landing gears, not really that much detail. And the interior is a bit different. As you can see, it uses these screens instead of analog dials. And also there's a bunch more seats. Now the Caravan also has a skydiving version, but the only difference is that it has a blue livery and there's a hole. So the Caravan's rating is probably a 5.6. Anyways, with all of that being said, let's look at the new models. So the first thing that is immediately noticeable is that there are liveries now, which is very nice. The 172, the new one, it's just so much better now. The model is just very smooth, and then the whole model is obviously just quite smooth and not really that chunky like before. Now let's move on to the interior, and as you can see, it's just so much better. As you can see, the yoke is actually nicely modeled. and so does the instruments. There's even a map. Like, why? The rest of the interior is not really that exciting. Anyways, that's all I've got for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in another video. Welcome back to another video, everyone. As you may know, this 787 is getting a remodel in PTFS, and well, it's already complete. So today, for the remaining time we're still with the current 787, let's compare the old model to the new model. Here's the exterior of the old 787 model. It's totally fine, just not good. The cockpit windows are completely off, like not even 1% accurate. And the overall body shape is more crooked and not that smooth. The landing gear lacks extra details. The APO is nowhere to be seen, but the engines are good. Overall, it's fine, just not the best right now. Next, the new exterior. It's definitely improved and look much closer to the real thing now. The body shape is more streamlined and smooth. And you cannot forget the extra details on the landing gear and APU. Oh, the cockpit windows are finally accurate. Moving on to the cockpit, the old one was decent. One would argue though that the knobs are overly exaggerated in size, or everything kind of plugs out, and a lot of buttons, especially the FMC and transponder stuff, are just missing. The yoke is just bad. And another detail missing are the extra jump seats behind the main pilots. Those seats are reserved for relief pilots on longer flights. They are nowhere to be seen in the current model. Before we continue with the video, I would just like to quickly tell you about my friend's channel, which is called Simple Anas. He makes a bunch of random and unpredictable videos, such as Euro Truck Simulator 2, and then suddenly old versus new Audi, Lamborghini, Nissan, BMW. If you would like to give a helping hand, you can go to the link in the description and support him. Anyways, back to the video. Now for the new cockpit, what do you think is the most obvious detail here? Well, screens, yes. Finally, the cockpit feels much more alive now. Looking at the buttons and switches, it's definitely smaller and more realistic to the real one. And the FMS and transponder radio stuff are finally modeled in and not just left out like the previous one. The yoke is better now, and the place where the trim switches are located are now modeled too. Still no overhead panel though, like come on guys, just add it. The current 787 has 16 liveries, including the blank one. Their quality is pretty much the same that we have in PTFS now. But some airlines that are missing include ANA and Japan Airlines. Many were disappointed to not see them as they were some of the earliest customers of the 787. As of the 31st of October 2024, there are 6 liveries modeled for the new 787. They are all already existing liveries except for one, which is Emirates. It's interesting to note as Emirates hasn't even taken delivery of the type yet. Obviously the new model will always be better than the old one, but sometimes you just want more liveries in your life, so in that case you would select the old model, but unfortunately we can't because it will be deleted in the next update. For the release day, we'll probably see it released next week or this week for that matter, because it's already Thursday or now, so we could just be waiting 2 more days for the update. But yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you in another video. The next PTFS remodel, which is the 777, is already complete, so let's compare it with the current/old model. The old exterior was mostly fine, except the nose was a bit dodgy. The engines used are the Trent 800, Now I actually don't know this, please someone correct me. And the wings are a bit blocky and they're less aerodynamically smooth. The tail section is mostly fine. The landing gears, however, is severely under detailed. Like the nose landing lights are decals. Now let's check out the old interior. Here's the business class cabin and the economy class. The cabin is the standard PTFS cabin and there's no special features whatsoever. Now let's go to the cockpit. It's not amazing, let's just say that. The buttons are way too big and they kind of pluck out. The screens, they lack frames and are empty, just flying a PMDG 777 without the gauges installed. And finally, the yoke is an abomination. So overall, the old model is a 5. Personally, I value the cockpit a bit more. Now let's move on to the new model. The nose looks great, apart from the fact that the union shading is kind of messed up here. Like, what is that? The body's overall shape is more streamlined and smooth. So do the wings. Landing gears are insanely detailed, down to the struts and nose lights, yeah. The main gear looks girthy and improved as well. Wow, can't wait to land this thing. Now the new engines are definitely the GE90 because they look quite big in contrast to the rest of the aircraft. Here's the new interior. Yep, that's it. Finally, the new cockpit, and oh my god, it looks magnificent. The cockpit windows are finally correct, like they're a bit more vertical and not just slanted to the right or left. The center pedestal's buttons are finally scaled down and not larger than the engine. And everything else looks amazing. I don't know how to describe it. It's like something like to the vibe of PTFS cockpits. I don't know, man. It's probably the hype around it or something. Now, dare I say, this is the best 777 cockpit in Roblox. Well, until Project Flight makes one. But you know, it will be sometime. So for now, we've got the PTFS 777 cockpit. While the screens are low quality, well, at least we've got screens for a more immersive experience. Yeah. And finally, on top of all things, the yoke is no longer an abomination. Wow, finally, dude. Yeah, congrats. So yeah, I'd rate the new 777 a 9 out of 10. So thank you for watching this video and I'll see you in another one. Hey, you know, it's that time of the month again. Comparing the old 757 versus the new 757 in PTFS. I mean, you already know how this goes, so let's just get on with it. So starting with the old exterior, the biggest difference is that the old one is the 757-300, which is a longer variant of it, as you can see here. It's got like one more set of doors. So let's begin with the nose here. As you can see, it looks a bit more jagged or kind of pointy, and it's not really the smooth one that the 757 is known for. And yeah, overall the body shape is not smooth. I mean, you all cannot expect what I will say this time, so this video is kind of pointless. But anyways, moving on to landing gear. There are no struts model inside, and the landing lights are decals, literally, like, yeah, they are literally decals. And the tires and the wheels inside of them are not modeled very good as well. And why is there a clone of this plane here? I don't know why. But moving on to the engines, they are the Pratt & Whitney engines, because the Rolls-Royce engines, the other option is they're a bit longer and this one is a bit shorter, so that's a differentiator. And another change is that there's no winglets on the 300 or the current model, so that's great to know. And yeah, I mean, overall the other stuff are basically the same. Okay, and now it's time to view the new exterior model. Starting off already, this version is the Dash 200, the 757-200. And yeah, you can instantly recognize it because it's got a shorter body compared to the 300, or aka the old model. Now let's start with the nose. It looks a lot smoother compared to the old one, which looked like a knife, dude, literally. But yeah, this time it's just a lot more smoother and looks more like a plane. Yeah, you know. Alright, let's move on to the landing gear. The struts are modeled alongside this big box, which I think I've explained in my previous videos, so I don't know. But hey, the landing lights are not decals anymore, they're actual models this time, but there's a bit of decal still. Anyways, moving on to the engines.
This time they are the Rolls-Royce RB211 because they are a lot longer compared to the Pratt & Whitney engines on the old model. So yeah, that's great to know. And there's also winglets this time for efficiency, you know. And finally this time the APU is modeled, so that's great news for cave divers. Okay, now let's move on to the interior of this plane. And yep, so here's the business class cabin of the old 757. It contains like yeah, it contains 8 business class seats. They're kind of like suites like Emirates first class. And then behind that is economy with the usual, you know, 2-2 seating layout. I mean, yeah, there's 2-2 seating layout on 757. In real life, it's actually 3-3, but hey, PTFS can't fit everything, so they gotta scale it down a bit. Okay, so that's all for the cabin. There's not much. There are no galleys, no extra rooms, none of that fancy stuff. You know, PTFS keeps it simple, you know, for optimization. Okay, now let's move on to the interior of the plane. Yeah, it's basically the same as the old one. 8 business class seats up front, and the rest is economy. So there's no like fancy stuff. They're literally the exact same interior, so I mean, who cares anyways. I mean, one change is this decal here which says crew only, and a no entry sign, so that's good to know. Okay, now to the old cockpit, and wow, it looks horrible. Literally, like, that's all I got to say. It just looks horrible. The buttons, they pluck out very much. Like, what is this? And the autopilot panel just doesn't look like an autopilot panel. It just looks like some layer cakes stacked. And yeah, the yoke looks like a guy flexing, and it doesn't look like a Boeing yoke at all. So this cockpit is a disappointment. Overall, the old model, I would give a 5 out of 10. I mean, for its time when it was first released, I guess it was fine, but for now in 2025, it definitely needs a remodel now. Alright, moving on to the final part, which is the cockpit, and it looks 500% better than the old one. I mean, all I can say is everything's much more smaller and they don't pluck out as much. And looking at overall, yeah, everything just looks good, you know. Yeah, I've got a behind the scenes picture of what the cockpit first looked like without all these models. I mean, yeah, I'm glad we didn't get that as the new cockpit for this plane. The old one was already bad enough and we didn't need that one. Yeah, thankfully we got this one, which, I mean, just looks magnificent. I mean, yeah, the MCDU, I mean FMC, and also the engine displays. They're here now. Now other planes doesn't have them, so it's great to know that this plane does have them. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Now let's view the livery options, which I kind of forgot to do on the old models, so who cares anyways. I'll put them in post editing later on. But yeah, for the airliner variant, we have the blank Aer Lingus, American, yeah, British Airways, Delta, Hotjet, EasyJet, Condor, Jet2 Holidays, TUI, Air Baltic, Singapore Airlines, United Airlines, Iberia, and Cebu Pacific. And for the cargo variant, we have DHL, UPS, FedEx, a blank one, and also a special variant, which is the Air Force One variant, which is, you know, the presidential plane and stuff. So that's cool. This livery is going to be included in the presidential game pass for Roblox. You know, I gotta pay to fly this thing, okay? So yeah, let me know which one has more liveries, because I honestly can't remember. But I mean, yeah, that's all for this video basically. In conclusion, the new model is much better. I mean, yeah, that's going to be the case almost every single time. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Now everybody, welcome back to another video. As you all know, the next PTFS update is going to be the Lockheed TriStar. I mean, at least one of them. There's like another plane coming as well, but who cares about that? We all care about the TriStar really. So we still got a while until the update drops, probably next week or something. So in the meantime, let's compare the old model to the new one. As you can see, here is the old model, and oh my god, it looks so good. You can't even see it. It's just air molecules. It's like atoms in the air. This airplane is so airy and comfortable. You can't even see it. Okay, then Yeah, look at this plane, it's just too beautiful. The cockpit windows, they're kind of flat, and they're not really that rounded or curved, so that's great. And it's got no winglets for decreased efficiency, you know what I mean. And then the engines, they're just usual engines, I don't know what model are there. And then the landing gear, they're not that much special. But what stands out here is the horizontal stabilizer. As you can see, it's got an engine embedded into it, which is crazy. What is this? Okay, moving on to the interior of the old TriStar. Wow, man, the interior is just too comfortable. They make like a new aerospace cabin, you know, to go with the TriStar and stuff. Man, this is just magnificent. Okay, moving on to the cockpit, and wow, okay, how do I describe this? This cockpit looks old, it looks vintage, but it also looks modern at the same time. I don't know why, it just that feeling came out to my mind, and I just had nothing to say, so I'll just say that. You know, there's a lot of gauges here, and the tiller control here. Wow, the tiller is too big. It's like controlling an actual steering wheel for your car. And then this yoke, yeah, it's just a usual yoke, not really that much different. And obviously we can't forget the engineer panel. Obviously everything's modeled so good. There's a lot of gauges here, I can't even lie. Like, what are all these gauges for, literally? And the circuit breakers and stuff, I don't know why they're coding stuttering so much, but that's not my fault. And yeah, everything looks so good. PTFS just does an insane job of modeling cockpits every time. Moving on to the cockpit of the TriStar, the old TriStar, and wow, this cockpit is just too magnificent. It's too simple. You know, the automations have taken over the pilots, and now the cockpit is just airspace cockpit, airplane cockpits. You know the pilot. So as you can see, the new model clearly won. I mean, the old model was just air. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.